All right, when I talked about this Domain 3 chart at our grade level meeting, there seemed to be a little bit of confusion still after we were done. So I thought that I would send out a video, and I've made the video specific to campuses. So this video is for KE Little and San Leon. And the reason I did that is because those two campuses have the same two student groups that will count in 2023. So let's go over this chart. We know that for 2023 that the number of student groups has been condensed. And so at most you will have 6 student groups. Our campuses will probably only have 5 student groups. And how these student groups are determined is we have the all students, we have the 2 lowest race/ethnicity groups for 2022, we have the high focus, we have special ed former. Now, special ed former, most of you probably will not have 10 tests to be able to make that special ed former count for you. And then we have the continuously enrolled. So when we look at this, remember this is only for state accountability. Federal accountability goes back to all of the student groups, and that federal accountability, that all the student groups, is what we look at for our targeted and our additional targeted support. But for our campus rating, what we look at is we look at this chart. Okay, so you have your all students, your Hispanic, your white, your high focus. Your high focus is one big group that is inclusive of your economically disadvantaged, your emergent bilingual, your special ed, and your highly mobile. And no matter how many of those 4 categories the students are tagged with, they are only counted once in that high focus group. Okay, so we know that your all students in 2022, you needed 44% of your all students to meet or exceed grade level on their reading or math test. Okay, so when we look at that, it's gone from 44 to 46, and math has gone from 46 to 49. Our high focus, which is our emergent bilingual, our echo disc, our SPED, our highly mobile, you have to have 37% of them meet or better. And yet for math, you have to have 42% meet or master's grade level. Okay. Then for academic growth, remember we have that new chart. We're now looking at it by performance levels, and it's called the transition chart. So did the student transition from high did not meet to low approaches? Did the student transition from low approaches to high approaches? Did the student transition from high approaches to low meets? And so we need to look at that performance level chart to be able to see where those academic growth markers are. So for reading, we need 72%. For math, we need 72%. For Hispanic, we need 71% of our Hispanic students to make growth in reading from 22 to 23. Okay, and that will only be your 4th graders because 3rd graders don't test 2 years in a row and across the board. Okay, for student success, this is that domain in which we put everything into one big bucket. Your math and your reading, your 3rd and your 4th all go into the one bucket, and we get a 1/3 of a point for approaches. We get 2/3 of a point for meets. We get a full point for masters. And this says that you need to get 47% of your points in 2022, and this year it's 47%. You notice that it all stays the same except for SPED former went down 1. And for our TELPAS, our English language proficiency, we're calculating that differently this year because our writing for the first time is online. Since our writing is online, they've said that they are not going to look at that domain for this year. And so they're going to look at your reading, your speaking, your listening. Now, if a student has advanced high in 2 out of the 3, then they will get their points, their yes, for the progress, okay? If the student moves up a performance level from 22 to 23 in reading, listening, or speaking on their TELPAS test, then they will get the yes also. Okay, and you need 49% of your TELPAS test to come in where the students scored advanced high on 2 out of the 3, or they increased their performance level on 2 out of the 3. Okay, now Lisa will get with you on the exit criteria, and I make the assumption the exit criteria will follow along with excluding that writing and not using, but that is her domain and not mine. All right, so remember, this is for your state accountability because the federal accountability goes back to all the student groups, but the state accountability for your campus grade, this is the chart that you will use.